Hello, everyone. Welcome. Great afternoon, great evening. Come on in. I am Sister Karen Burks with United Christian Faith Ministries, Economic Empowerment, and we have a great topic on tonight, top tier branding. Branding for you in ministry, branding personally and professionally. We have a great speaker that will be talking with us on how to go forth within that. So I definitely want you all to like, share, subscribe to our channel at UCFM. Definitely have more people to join in on this great conversation that we will be talking about on tonight, which is branding. I will be introducing our speaker for tonight, none other than Miss Mandy Gabriel. So she's going to come right on in as we talk about Miss Gabriel. Ms. Mandy Gabriel is a successful, there she is, awesome. So Ms. Mandy Gabriel is a successful serial entrepreneur from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mandy has served as the marketing industry for over 15 years. She served within the marketing industry within 15 years with much applied job experience, marketing, and project management background from LSU and Southern New Hampshire University. Mandy has her skills within developing within training, young professionals, and success. She is the proud owner of Chipper Media and a full service media marketing firm that specializes in digital media and a host of other establishments. With over 8 years of coaching experience, Mandy's main goal in life is to provide tools to the everyday young professional and entrepreneurs so that they may achieve their career goals to be equipped to assist the next professional in their community. I had the privilege of meeting Miss Mandy not too long ago with our LSU entrepreneur boot camp, and she spoke so well pertaining to marketing and branding for the entrepreneurs that was in that session. I said we definitely have to get her within our ministry just to talk about how to go forth within branding professionally, of course, and then within our business, how we go forth within that. And of course, within ministry, because that's what we do, right? So I definitely want you guys to welcome her, put those questions in the chat box. If you have any questions, of course, regarding of what she would share with us on tonight, take a lot of notes as well, because we're going to go forth and learn some great information on tonight. All right, Mandy, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everybody. As Karen was saying, my name is Mandy Gabriel. I am super excited to be on tonight to talk to you guys about branding and what branding means to not only you, but to your business, to ministry, and your just overall personal brand. So we have like 45 minutes to an hour to chat. I am extremely excited again. And I want us to just go ahead and jump right into it and let's not lose a lot of time. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is what is branding. So a lot of times when people think of branding, they think it's about logos or, oh, I got to get a logo or what my colors look like. But branding has so many concepts to it, right? Branding can mean so many things. But I want us to go to the actual definition. So the definition of branding is the promotion of a particular product or company by means of advertising, and distinctive design. It also means distinctive wording or design used to identify a particular brand. So the second definition is definitely my favorite to use because it is used to identify a particular brand. So of course in branding, we want to talk about how are you identified? How is your business identified? How is your personal branding identified? We want to start talking about how can I get people to identify me without me having to explain what I am or what I represent. So why does it matter? Branding matters because you want to identify something. I want to be able to not have to always explain what my business is or who my business is whenever someone sees it. Like now, a lot of people know what my business is just by seeing the branding that we've created throughout the city and throughout the state. And that's something to be excited about. Even my personal branding and my ministry branding. But before we start getting into branding, how things work together, I really want us to talk about social media safety. This was something that Karen and I spoke about, and it is very important that you understand safety, because when you start going into branding and you start posting and you start showing personality, you start displaying all of these things, we want to make sure that you guys understand what is safe. So I do have a few tips and tricks on what's safe and what's not safe, right? So of course, the first thing, don't post anything that can be embarrassing for you or others. You want to make sure that you're respecting people's privacy as well as yourself. You don't want to post something that's going to be embarrassing. Start early in building an online reputation. So I know that we do have a couple of people that join the live that may be a little bit later in age, and we do have some that are, probably younger. When we talk about starting early and building a reputation, it doesn't necessarily mean in age. A lot of times, some people, like myself, when I was younger in college, this was before I got in ministry, I was a completely different person. And so a lot of the things that I had on my social medias, it did not reflect the person that I was at this time. And so I had to go back. I had to do a lot of deleting. I had to delete accounts. I had to delete certain pictures. I had to delete certain posts. And then I found myself having to rebrand myself personally, because a lot of the things that I posted prior were not things that represent who I was or where I was going. And so I had to go back and delete. So make sure that when you're starting off early in your social media, building your reputation, make sure that if you are starting from the ground up, that you are posting things that are going to represent you well. The next thing is, don't compromise your identity. I think it goes without saying, don't share personal information. Don't share your social security number. Even when it comes to contact information, be sure that if you're sharing contact with information with anyone, it is a safe source that you're sharing it with. Be considerate of others when posting and interacting. I am not posting something that someone does not want me to post. This goes from business, ministry, even personal. If someone, even I have a friend, they're like, they just had a baby. They didn't want anyone posting pictures of their babies until they do. That is me respecting their wishes. Someone getting married, hey, unplug policy. Don't post anything until we do. Being mindful of people's wishes. Next, we're going into making sure you set up your privacy settings and preferences within social media apps. So if you don't want something to be reshared or the general public to see, make sure you set up your privacy settings. Don't post or respond to anything that would emotionally charge you up. I'm telling y'all, I know we have a lot of Christians on the call. Listen, people are going to antagonize your religion. People are going to antagonize you. People are going to be disrespectful. Sometimes we have to remove ourselves online so we don't compromise ourselves, our character, our identity to go tit for tat for someone online. Sometimes it's easy to remove yourself if it's from groups, if it's from posts. Turn off post notifications. I had to mute and silence the news app several times because I would just, just get so upset by some of the things that I was seeing, whether it was about, Black people, whether it was about shootings, whether it was about so many different things I knew I was sensitive to. And I knew, me being the bold personality that I am, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to compromise myself by saying certain things online. So respecting yourself by not following or being involved with things that are going to get you charged up. Again, secure your profile. I want you guys to make sure that you're monitoring your passwords. Don't give anything away. I know sometimes, you may see a friendly face that comes into social in your DMs and your messages, and they'll say, I can turn $20 to $2,000. That is not true. that is spam. Report the page. There's a lot of people, even sometimes when they're asking for personal information, they will secure a friendly page that you may friend, and then they will take over that page to send you spam messages. That's not your friend trying to scam you. A lot of times is their page has been hacked, and so now those scammers are trying to scam you. So please, please, please be mindful of those type of things and be safe. Next thing is, don't tell the world where you are at all times. I don't know about you guys, but I personally, when I was younger, did not have really good experiences, and I wish someone would have expressed to me certain safeties. But when I was out with my friends or I was out somewhere, I would post everything, which now I still post a lot of everything, but it's not timely. So if I'm out and about at a restaurant, I don't post like right then and there. Sometimes I may post when I'm already leaving or when I'm about to leave. Just because you want to make sure that, it's really for your safety, nothing's crazy going on. Because people do have, some crazy ways. Next thing, regularly search yourself online. That may sound crazy. Like, how you hear people say, Google me. You really need to Google yourself. If you Google yourself and you find a profile or something that does not belong, you have the right to report them, and you also can be ahead of whatever that person's trying to do. So regularly Google yourself, search for yourself online. Be careful about oversharing. Sometimes this can cause you harm. So a lot of times when you overshare, people can tend to use that information to try to figure out what your password is. People can use that information to try to steal your identity. So be careful of how you overshare. And then the last thing is, remember, once it's posted, it's always posted. Meaning you can post it and it might have been up for 3 minutes and you regret it, so you go back and delete it. Someone could have already screenshotted it. So just remember that once it's posted, it's always posted. So just be mindful of how you're posting, what you're posting, when you're posting it. So now that I have gone through social media safety, and I wanted to go through it as quickly as I could because we have a lot to unravel tonight. We are going to be going over your personal branding, business branding, and ministry branding. So it is a lot of information compiled in a little bit of time. So excuse me if I'm rushing and I'm talking really fast. But I did hear we are going to have this for a replay up on YouTube. So you guys can always go back and rewatch it, take notes, and do what you can. So let's see. Sorry, thought I saw something. All right, so now we are going to go into business branding. Sorry, I know I see that we have a comment, but the comment isn't popping up. There we go. Okay, never mind. We got it. All right, so now we're going over to business branding. So with business branding, there's a few things that you have to define. So when we talk about branding your business, one of the first things you want to do is understand your mission statement. What is your mission statement? So I can tell you that for Chipper Media, so I do own Chipper Media. It is a full service marketing firm. But our mission statement is, we help businesses grow effectively through strategy and innovation. So when people come to us and they see our mission statement, they know, hey, they're going to get an effective, drawn out, well-purposed plan for their business. And it's going to be innovative. We're going to bring new ideas, fresh ideas, something that we can bring to them so they can bring to their clients and their services and whatever they're offering. We do serve a lot of service-based businesses, so nonprofits, government officials, things like that. So we do offer a lot of service-based businesses, but we don't stop there. We also do product services as well. Sorry, that was a little tongue twister for me. So getting your mission statement together. So get your mission statement together. And your mission statement is you figuring out, what do I represent? What am I going to convey on a daily basis? So that's your mission statement. The next thing, visual brand keywords. Okay. Visual brand keywords. That is really important because that is what you're always going to look to when you're going to question, okay, is this explaining this? So some keywords, we have fun, we have family, we have faith-based, pet-friendly, aggressive, male-dominated, right? So in my business, one of our major keywords is innovative. So whenever I'm creating something, or whenever me and the team are creating something, one thing we always ask is this an innovative idea? Is this changing? Does this speak to someone? If someone sees this, they know that it's our work. They know that, man, this is so good. Like, this is really speaking to us. So think of the keywords that you are going to place for your business, and always ask, am I representing this? Am I representing family friendly? Am I representing pet friendly? Are we representing innovative? Are we representing strong? Are we representing beauty? Are we representing clean, right? So if you have a clean organic product, are you representing that? So these are the visual brand keywords that you always want to keep in mind. The next thing we have is market positioning versus competitors. So a lot of times, something that a lot of my entrepreneur clients like to say is they don't have competitors, right? Oh, I don't really have competitors. Everyone have competitors. It may not be how you are picturing it, but everyone has competitors. Your competitors can be a bigger brand or it can be a smaller brand, but you need to think, who are my competitors? As a Chipper Media, when I first started, I did not know of any of the full service marketing firms in Baton Rouge. I only knew of like every other entrepreneur, right? Like I know of an entrepreneur who does this type of work, but I do know that that's not the goal. Then that's not the goal for Chipper Media. The goal for Chipper Media is to expand, is to have multiple employees, is to have, an actual like office space, like a one that we own, right? Not one that we rent out, like an actual office space that we own. So this was the bigger goal for Chipper Media. And so when I was thinking of competitors, it's like, who are those companies and how can I be like them? Just give me 1 second. It's who are those businesses and how can I be like them? And it wasn't necessarily like, how can I be like them, like copy them, but it's what are they doing that I need to be doing? Because clearly they're getting the clients that I want to get. They are servicing the areas that I want to service. They are offering virtual services. They're offering remote consultation. Like, what is it that they're doing that I want to now do as well? So one of the things that I did was I Googled marketing firms near me. And so I started pulling up all of these firms. And so I started to see who exactly were my competitors, what they were offering, what I wasn't offering. So now we're going into what makes you different from your competitors, right? I had to look and see what's making me different, what's putting me in a space of that's going to set me apart from every other marketing firm. And I ended up doing what's called a competitor strategy analysis. So I was able to start breaking down the comparison of me versus my competitors. And then when I looked at it, I saw, okay, I'm not doing 5 of these things. And so in order for me to grow, I know that I'm going to need to offer them at some point. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it right now, but I know at some point, in order for me to grow, I need to start offering these services as well, because that's the service that the target audience they're reaching, that's what they're getting. That's what they're providing to them for. So I know that I want that type of target audience. I want the bigger brands. I want the government contracts. I want these businesses that can pay thousands and thousands of dollars for marketing. That's what I wanted. And so I started to build from that. The next thing is understanding your target persona. Who is your target audience? A lot of times when we talk about target audience, some people don't dig deep, right? They say, oh, I market to everybody. You don't market to everyone. You may have a marketing segment that you may reach. So, for example, a marketing segment is, okay, I want to reach women. I want to reach men. Those are segments. But now when we start breaking it down, is what kind of women? Okay, I want to reach women who are ages 18 to 35. I want to reach, if you're a beauty brand, right? Or you're, let's say someone's selling a product for acne. Okay, I want someone who has acne prone skin, someone who has hormonal challenges that's affecting their skin. So now you start to break down what that looks like, even when you go into price points. Okay, so my price point may be on the higher end, so I need women who are in the middle to higher income class, right? I want to service those who live in the suburban area. Like, finding ways to detail your target audience as much as you can, because then you have to ask yourself, what emotions do my brand evoke? Like, what am I bringing out of people when they see this? Do they see, oh, I need to grab, like, this is something that looks like it's going to work, right? So, and you got to ask yourself too, if your brand was a person, who would it be? Who would your brand be? Next is messaging. What kind of messaging are you providing? So, Chipper Media, we are a full service marketing firm, and we specialize in digital marketing and corporate communication. Our messaging is that we cater to a more corporate audience. So this also comes across as bigger nonprofits, or nonprofits that touch a larger audience within our city. I love working with nonprofits because that's where I started. I started marketing for nonprofits. My very first big contract, like, I'm talking about comma contract, like it had a comma in it. My very first large contract was with a big nonprofit here in the city, and that's where I got my foot in the door. And so I do have a special place for nonprofits. So my messaging has always been being able to cater to the corporate while also not being so political. Right, which is funny because we do have a government contract with the mayor's office, and so we do have a little politics there, right? But it's also speaking of the voice and not so much as black and white. So just thinking about your messaging. Next, and we have 2 more points in the business, and we're going to move over to ministry. So the next point is website strategy. Really, website strategy is, what is your call to action? Why are you developing a website? This website is in place for someone to go to what? This website is in place so people can do what? And with the website strategy, it's going to take me a long time to kind of delve into it. However, if you are getting a website from someone, they should develop a website strategy with you, not for you, with you, because you should have a voice in what's happening with your website. And then the final thing on business is business goals and measures of success. This is important because when you're talking about branding, is what is our goal behind the brand? Like, we're creating this brand. Do we want it to evolve into something over the next 5 years? Are we creating this brand just because it's a startup and we want to sell it in the next 5 years? You have to start asking yourself these questions. And also, how are you measuring it? A lot of people don't know the back office of their business. They don't know the numbers. There's some people that come to me and they're like, hey, I need help. I'm not getting clients. And I want to ask them, what's their revenue? They don't know. What is your year-to-date revenue? They don't know. How many clients are you servicing? What percentage are you servicing this year since last year, from this quarter compared to this quarter last year, right? People don't know. So you need to understand how to measure your success. And that is business. Now, before I move over into ministry, I want you guys to understand, when you are building your brand for business, you want to hit the who, what, when, where, why, and how of your business, right? Who am I targeting? That's your who. The what am I actually offering? What am I doing? The who, what, when, right? When am I going to launch? When am I going to be open? When am I going to service these people? The why am I doing this? Why am I servicing them? Why am I in business? Why is this a goal of mine? The, who, what, when, where, why. Oh, where. I knew I was missing something. Where is this going to be? Is this going to be a virtual business? Is this going to be brick and mortar? Do I need to buy a business? Is this something I can have a home office for? Right. And then now we go into the how, which is bringing all of it together. So think about the who, what, when, where, why, and how of your business, and bring it all together, and you looking at your business branding. Branding is more than a logo, but your logo does matter. That is very important to remember, because when we start talking about logos and colors, your colors should speak to your brand. When we talk about, I'm very strategic about how I build brands for my customers, because I don't build for my customers. I don't build because, oh, this is cute. I build for their audience. Your brand should be built based off of your target audience. And that's why it's so important to understand what you're servicing, and who your target audience is first before you do anything. Before you go and try to get a logo, before you go and try to get some branding and marketing done, you must first figure out who your target audience is, because everything's going to be built off of that. Everything should be built off of that. And if it's not built off of that, if you go to someone and you say, hey, I need a logo built, and they're like, cool, what do you want it to look like? They should ask you about your target audience. They should ask you about your business. They should be asking you questions so they can creatively develop a branding for you. And if they're not doing it, it's okay for you to say, oh, I'm going to go to someone else. Do not spend money until you know that person is doing you a service of actually building a brand based on your target audience, because that's what's important. So that is your business branding. Now we have ministry branding, and I'm going to take another sip of water because all is talking. And I'm talking fast. So let me get a sip. So going into ministry branding. Now, with ministry branding, I want everyone to understand that ministry branding, and I'm going to slow down with this one because I feel like this one is really, really important. Ministry branding is not about the church. I'm going to say it again. Ministry branding is not about the church, right? Everyone has ministry. Everyone is a part of ministry. It doesn't matter if you're, called to a title yet, or you serving in a certain position yet. Every single person has a ministry. Everyone has an opportunity to talk about God. Your ministry branding is not only you spreading the gospel, but it's also speaking on your purpose. This is when we start talking about, understanding your purpose, understanding what God has for you to do out in the world, what God is calling you to do. That's when we start talking about your ministry branding. We'll talk about more personal branding. Personal branding is a little bit shorter, but understanding this piece is also going to help you drive your personal branding. In ministry, you have to understand what your purpose. What are you here for? I can speak to a ministry brand that I actually have. So this isn't just my personal brand and I talk about God. God actually gave me a brand. It's called Creative Christian. You guys can follow it on Instagram. It's called @creativechristian_. The ministry brand is that ministry brand is developed for tech workers and creatives who work and serve in the body of Christ. Not only do they serve in those respective areas, but that is also the industry that they work in daily. That's their 9 to 5, the tech industry and the creative industry. So those who are artists, photographers, videographers, those who paint, graphic designers, things like that. So that brand is catering to that specific audience. But that brand is not just encouraging and empowering those in that space, but it's also giving those a safe space to know that even though I go to work and I have challenges with even expressing my faith, and this, a lot of people don't understand that in the tech industry, it can be hard because it can be hard being a Christian in the tech industry because it's not, your religion isn't respected, right? It's science over religion. That's just what it is. That's just what they believe. But when we walk in being a Christian, whether I have a cross on or I have something in my office that represents God or a scripture, I have scriptures written on my whiteboard. The question is always, oh, I didn't know you're a Christian, or people, don't nobody say they don't know I'm a Christian because they know I'm a Christian. But it's always, like, people come in, and even though I'm very, very professional, when they see certain things, it's, oh, like, didn't realize that, you were into God, right? And it's, when I first started off in tech, it was kind of challenging because I would try to figure out, how can I be me and walk in this light that God has me walking in, and also be successful in my career. And so a few years ago, he gave me Creative Christian. I strategically had to listen from God to see what he wanted me to do with it. And it wasn't until recently that it launched, like literally maybe a week ago that it was launched. And so it's important to understand, when we're talking about ministry branding, it's not just the church. And I'm not speaking ministry branding for the church, because this call is not for the church. This call is for you. And so when we go into talking about ministry branding and what does it look like, keep in mind, it's you being able to share the gospel and talk about it and share the word of God in a loving, I'm going to make sure I say that again, in a loving, respectful, and honorable way. So going out and sharing the gospel, where we all have an opportunity to share the gospel, especially on social media, that is what ministry branding is about. What are we conveying to people, and how are we going to show up? How are we going to show people that they are welcome in my space, and in a non-judgmental space, in a space that is welcoming and inviting? When people see you, when people interact with you, they should be able to see the God in you. It should not be you have to go and post 50 million scriptures a day to try to convince people that you're godly. You should be walking the life, a godly life, the best way you possibly can, right? Because we're imperfect people with trying to have a perfect heart, right? We should be able to try to walk the best way we possibly can in a Christian walk. And that is how we're going to show the ministry brand. So when people see us and when they hear from us, they see God in us, and it's not us trying to convince them to see God in us. They just see it. So that is your ministry branding. And next, we're going to go into personal branding. So I know that you guys heard me mention earlier in this presentation, I did discuss that there was a point in time where, when I was younger, I was posting a lot of crazy stuff, stuff that I should not have been posting, super embarrassing stuff, like of the world stuff, right? And I was posting these things, and I used to also like throw parties at the club. I was a VIP coordinator at a club in New Orleans. So a lot of my personal brand was the party girl. Someone who's always on vacation, someone who was making money to party. That was my personal branding. Like, I'm showing people a great lifestyle what I thought was a great lifestyle, right? Like a fun, we out popping bottles, doing all that. That was my personal branding at a time. Even fitness. I was a fitness trainer, and I was showing my body all the time, like, and not even in like a fitnessy way, just in like a super sexual way. And for me, my personal brand was like that sexy, going out to the club, vacationing all the time. I got the money, I got any guy I want. Like, that was my personal brand. But because that was the way I conveyed myself, it was a struggle when I recommitted myself to God and I started to walk the life, a godly life that, I should have been walking. In the beginning, I realized that it was a harder transition for me to leave the life alone. And it wasn't because I wouldn't leave the life alone. What it was that so many people saw me a certain type of way. So when I started talking about God, it was so aggressive because I grew up in church. So I grew up in church, went to college, backslid, I was flying back and forth. So went to college, had the party life, and then now I'm like, look, I want to recommit myself to God. Once I recommitted myself to God, now I'm showing the story of my growth. And I was very, very, very transparent about my growth. And that was something that some people could not accept because they were still inviting me to the club. And I was like, no, I can't, I can't do the clubs. And it wasn't that I couldn't go out to have a good time or I couldn't hang out with my friends. It was that I knew if I was to put myself in certain situations, I would find myself going back to the same old stuff that I was trying to get away from. And so it was so important that I understood that while I was trying to rebrand myself, not as, oh, I'm this good old Christian girl, but I was rebranding myself as somebody who was a believer who was growing. And that's where it started. The personal branding started with me showing people that I showed up for the person who showed up for me. And that was God, right? So God showed up, never left, and was like, look, I'm still here. I got you. And so I made sure that every time I got a chance to share, I was going to, right? A lot of your personal branding goes into what do you want people to see about you, right? Now I'm a wife, now I am, we're family planning. So I talk open about our journey in, how we had miscarriages and, how we're believing for children. I'm very open about me being in ministry. I never thought that I would even be a leader in the ministry ever. Like, I knew God was calling me to minister and to pastor, but I never could see myself in that way because I grew up learning that, oh, women weren't supposed to be preachers. Like, that's the way that I was taught. But now that I'm older and I'm walking in my purpose, I learned that that was just the lies the enemy was trying to tell me because he knew what I was capable of. And when I go into my personal branding, it's me wanting to show people, hey, you can see me and see that I am still very rough around the edges. I still love all my friends from the hood. I still love all my friends who are millionaires. I still love all my friends who may go out, but I walk and carry myself in a certain type of way that is the way that I position my personal branding. When people see me now, they think of the growth. They think of, me and my pet dog and me and my husband, or me always cooking. Like, I love to cook. So I pride myself on cooking. Excuse me. And it's so important that when you are sharing your personal brand, you're sharing what makes you, but not in a way that's also overpowering. Like, I know God loves me, and I know that I am a representative of the body of Christ, of the kingdom, of the church. But I also know I don't have to post 50 million scriptures a day to flood everybody's timelines with scriptures because I want to prove to y'all that I love God as much as I say I love God. One of the misconceptions when it comes to personal branding, and that's why I said earlier, personal branding and ministry branding, they're like really intertwined. When we talk about personal branding, we're talking about when people see me, what do they see? Or how do I want them to see? It's very important that you represent your true self. You know, if you're not a food blogger, why are you trying to keep up with posting every little food item that you get, or trying to show a video every time you cook? It can be exhausting, but you know you aren't a food blogger, but you like, oh, this is what get people likes. You know, no, that's what get them likes. It may not get you likes. They built a personal brand off of being the cook, or being the person that's showing new restaurants, or knowing, you know, where the hot spots are. If that's not you, don't pretend to be that just because you want people to like your photos or like your videos or share stuff. You have to think about what's being conveyed, even to my target audience. A lot of people don't know this, but my actual personal brand, my target audience is more men than it is women. And you know, you would think that would be the case way back when I was a party girl and posting all the sex stuff and stuff like that. But mind you, that was also when I had a page that was almost 100,000 followers. I deleted all of that. So when people see me now, they don't think that those follow. They would think that you would think that those follows came from that, but they didn't. One of the reasons why my personal branding is catered to more men than it is to women is because my personal branding is about growth, and it's about the struggle, and it's about coming from a place that's mostly male dominated, right? And not only just male dominated, but the industries that I work in and that I walk in, they're mostly male dominated. So my personal branding has always been more men than women. You know, it's not saying that I can't cater to women or I'm not relating to women, but it's just saying that I speak and I carry in a more male dominated industry. And so that's why, you know, I cater to more men than I do women. But if you want to cater to more women, I'm gonna give an example of a mommy blog, right? I have a friend of mine. She is a mother. She is also in the same industry I am in terms of tech, but she catered to moms in tech. I'm not a mom yet. So there's not a lot of women relating to me, except the women that are in tech. So she has a bigger following for women, and especially mothers, because that's what she gives off. That's how she wants women to see her as. I want to be a influencer. I want to influence mothers. I want to influence mothers on the things that they choose for their clothes. I want to influence mothers on the things, on the money that they negotiate, on the jobs that they go on. That's her personal branding. Mine is not the same. And even when I do become a mom, right now I'm saying I'm probably not trying to influence other mothers to do stuff. I don't think I'm going to be that. That's just not like my personal brand. But the fun in being a person is everybody change. Everyone go through different things, and you know, we're always evolving, we're always changing. So that may change in the future. I just don't know. I ain't got kids yet, so I don't know, and I'm not gonna rack my brain about it either. But when it comes to personal branding, I want you guys to always think about what you're posting, how you're posting, when you're posting, and just be mindful that you're representing the best you. And you're representing not just the best you, but the truest version of you possible, because that's what people are going to see. You know, you don't want to find yourself posting, oh, I'm such this, you know, and I hate this term, but I'm such a holier than thou person, right? But then, you know, you at the casino or you at the club, you know, every other day. because now your online presence is one way, but the way you live in is completely different. And that's one, it's exhausting to try to keep up with the live. And two, when you can't be your true authentic self, how are you truly walking in God's favor? How are you truly walking in understanding what your purpose is? So just be very mindful in how you are presenting yourself, how you're presenting your business online, and how you're presenting your ministry online. And that, my friends, is branding. What's next? And I don't know if we have any questions, but now is a great time for us to do a Q&A, and I am here for any questions that you guys may have. And I don't know if Karen is jumping on. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about marketing ministry to the unchurched? Yes, I can. So when we talk about marketing ministry to the unchurched, it's all about um making them see that it's possible. A lot of times when we try to market to the unchurched, it could come off as very judgy. It could come off very condemning. It could come off in a way that is just, overbearing. And so, what we really want to do when we talk about marketing to those who are unchurched, make it relatable, make it to where they can see themselves. One of the reasons why people, may not come to church, or they can't see themselves in church, it's because um, they're not related to, they're not in a space where they can see themselves. And if you find a way where, like, for example, in Creative Christians, one of the most recent posts were, you can love God and work in tech, right? A lot of times people feel when you work in tech, you have to choose between science or God, when you can, in fact, do both. When we go out and we minister to people, I minister to a lot of children. So I've been working in serving in kids and teens since literally the beginning of time. Like, even since I was a kid myself, like, I've always served in that area. And there are a lot of kids, especially teenagers, that I minister to who don't go to my church, who don't go to church at all, or who may go to church only because, they have to go with their parents, but they're not getting fed in that space, because they feel like they're in the cycle of, oh, we just go to church, right? But it's showing them, what did church, or what did ministry, or what did God do for me? One of the biggest things is sharing your testimony. And I'm not talking about sharing your testimony as in, oh, God woke me up. Okay, he woke us all up, right? It's sharing your testimony in a way that is showing up in spaces that can be a little dark, because that's where the unchurched are. They're in dark spaces. So if you were in a dark space too, how did you get out? What was your life? And that is the key to ministering to those who are unchurched.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. We have a few other questions as well, and I took a lot from this as well.
Mm-hmm.
One other question we have from Ms. Charmaine. It states, for business branding, should everything we post consist of the same color scheme for our business? And she also had one other as well. What is the most important part of business social media branding as well? So those are two questions that she has.
Yeah, so I want to answer the color scheme
Mhm.
first. So with the colors, some people overthink color, right? Everything does not have to be the same color, but you do want to keep a consistency. The best brand to look at, two of the best brands to look at is Walmart and Target, right? So with Target, their brand colors are red. But when you go and you look on their social, you may see a little red here and a little red there, but everything is not always red and white. You know, they may have different branding of different things, but their voice is always the same. They're still speaking quality. They're still speaking convenience. They're still speaking family. They're still speaking beauty. That's the messaging that they're always speaking. But you may not always see that red target mark. Or, you know, a lot of times I tell people, every time you make a graphic, you don't have to put your logo on it. You know, a lot of times people just put logos on pictures, and every single picture that they have is with their logo. It doesn't have to be that. You just want to share the message of your campaign or of your business, and that's how you're branded. It doesn't always have to be, everything doesn't have to be the same color. And then the next part, which is what's the most important part of business, social media branding. The most important part, and make sure everybody hear me when I say this. The most important part is consistency. Okay? It's consistency. It's not saying that you have to post every single day. I have some people who, you know, they don't post every single day and they have amazing results, but they at least post 3 times a week. If you're posting at least 3 to 4 times a week, that's amazing. That's consistent. That's consistent to your brand. I can tell y'all right now, Chipper Media, don't go look at our social media page. The reason why it's so funny is because we do specialize and we offer all of these things, but we don't have to post every day. I remember when I first started business, I had to post every single day because I was trying to get all of these clients. And now I'm at a position where I can only take a few clients. And that's only for certain services. Because I'm booked. Like I'm passing off work to people that I thank God for, right? I'm not complaining at all because it's what I prayed for. But it's, you know, we don't have to post every day, because what happens is when we are posting, we get an influx of consultations and people ready to purchase, and people are like, hey, I need your service, I need your services. So we're mindful of when we're posting, because when we do, we try, not saying that we try to avoid, but we try to make sure that we have the capacity to accept clients. But I will say, try to post at least 3 to 4 times a week. Even if you're posting something every day in your stories, that's cool, but try to post at least 3 to 4 times a week. Being consistent, that's the most important part.
Absolutely. Love it. All right. So I want to again thank you for coming on and sharing with us about the importance of branding. One of the things in which that really stood out to me was the ministry, and for branding, of course, it's not about so much the ministry itself, the church, but it's definitely your ministry itself, what you provide. You definitely hit that home for us, of course, as far as our personal branding as well. Knowing who our target audience is so very important whenever we're going into our business. Colors, all of that is so very important. I want you all to definitely share this information with others. This will continually be on our YouTube page and of course Facebook as well, so you'll be able to go back and watch the replay of it. I definitely again thank you, Mandy, for bringing in your knowledge of understanding how to brand yourself professionally, personally, and of course within ministry. I love your testimony, your transparency of that, even of how, you know, things went for you and how it turned around for your good within that. I got excited back here just hearing you talk about that. So that was just great within itself. I definitely want you to share in just a moment how people can get in contact with you. But I want our listening audience to know, our viewers to know, that we do have one upcoming event that will be on next Thursday. It will be Nonprofit 101 workshop. It will be in person. We have two dynamic speakers that will be coming in. Dr. Sonia Daniels and Tremaine Sterling will be providing us how to go forth within nonprofits, how to maintain it, how to seek out funding for this a nonprofit. So you don't want to miss that opportunity to come in and learn more on how to move forth within starting a nonprofit, helping someone with their nonprofit, being on a board. So that's exciting to me, because I definitely love helping those the nonprofit industry. Similar to what Mandy stated, I too just love helping within the nonprofit space. So look forward to that. That will happen on next week at 6 p.m. So please get registered for that. And then, of course, on next week as well, the Economic Empowerment Team will be starting at 5 a.m. every Thursday morning. This is what we are doing to ignite the fire within our finances, a part of evangelism as well. 5 a.m. in the morning. We're taking 15 minutes to get up and go forth before the Lord regarding our finances, how we can elevate spiritually, economically. If we're wanting to purchase that new home or get land, God is wanting us to possess the land, right? So definitely we're going to be going before the Lord regarding finances. 15 minutes each morning on Thursday for the month of September. Okay. So definitely, set your clocks for that. All right. Miss Mandy, if you don't mind, go ahead and tell us how we could reach you, and we'll close out for tonight. Go ahead. I think she's still on mute, but the information, there we go. All right.
Am I still muted?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine now.
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I must have accidentally clicked it. Yes. So if you guys would like to reach me, I know some of you may still have some more questions. Please feel free, even if you're watching the replay, please feel free to reach me via email, Mandy at chippermediabr.com. And it's on the screen. And you can also reach me per private messaging at Mandy J G. That is on Instagram, and then Mandy J on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me outside of here.
Awesome. You guys definitely reach out to her and, use her services as well. I, again, definitely want to thank you all on behalf of Economic Empowerment Ministries and United Christian Faith Ministries under the leadership of our dynamic pastor, Pastor Mark A. Ellis. Thank you once again for tuning in tonight, understanding how to be a top leader, top tier branding for you within your ministry, leadership, professionally, personally. All of that is so very important for us. So I want you to go forth and do great on this week, and definitely invite someone to our family and friends on this month, which is our last Sunday that we'll be doing the top tier family. We're having an event on tonight. Definitely come out tonight at UCFM and join us on tonight. All right. You guys have an amazing night, and see you Sunday. Be blessed.
Have a great one. Thank you.
All right. Take care, Mandy.